Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our preview for the Blacklist Season 9, Episode 10, entitled Arcane Wireless, because this is what we need, an evil wireless corporation. It's not like we have ever encountered any of those in real life ever. Every wireless corporation could be on the Blacklist.
I really hope that this episode has some good surprises in it, because just from the synopsis alone, an evil sort of cellular network, I don't know. I don't know.
I have a good idea for a scene in this episode. Aram is going to go up to Cooper and be like, "We need to put them on the blacklist. I just got a $4 surcharge." And then Cooper's going to be like, "You're right. They made me pay double my last bill."
Or are we going to have Wrestler on like tech support for an hour and a half?
Okay,
just to get hung up on?
All right, listen, everybody. If this episode does suck for whatever reason, just come watch our version of this episode instead, because apparently it's going to be hilarious.
Before we get into it, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We are here every week talking about the Blacklist. Don't forget that when it does come back, it is coming back on Fridays. It is not on Thursdays, so if you're not around, you're setting your DVRs, Friday.
Okay, so what is Arcane Wireless other than just the butt of our jokes? Apparently, this is a underground cellular network that's used by criminals. Like, what does that really mean? Is it just they passing around burners all the time?
Yeah, I'm sure it's sort of like an untraceable line or whatever, something along those lines, which, like I said, I'm not that excited about this. I'm really hoping, though, that the show's going to give me something a little bit more. The synopsis was kind of like, oh, cellular network for criminals. So, okay, all right.
Here's my sort of larger concern at the moment is that usually like the last episode of the calendar year, or at least like the last episode before a big hiatus, which we got not that long ago, like you usually get something really good and juicy out of those. And, now we've got this big question as to who told VANDYKE to be where he was the night that Liz died. All that is interesting, but typically the middle portions of Blacklist seasons, they really draw a lot of stuff out, and it's really kind of long-winded, and it doesn't always go anywhere. So my concern is that we're going to spend a little bit of time these next few episodes with kind of getting just a lot of story of the week stuff that doesn't matter all that much. And I don't want that, because we're 9 seasons in at this point. We got to be moving towards some sort of end game, whether it's this season, next season, down the road, beyond that.
Yeah, and for me, I typically like the blacklisters that are more of like a person, more than like a whole network of, these goons over here and these goons over here, and then you just don't really remember who anybody is.
Yeah.
Again, I'm really hoping that this episode surprises me, but typically the blacklist gets like real good when it's got the blacklister of the week, and it's a singular person that we can kind of get a little invested in before they're caught or dead.
Like, a great example of this was Bookman Baptiste, who we just saw.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, that was a great blacklister who had a great motive, and it really allowed us to understand who he was. Yeah. But beyond the blacklister story, here's where things could get a little bit more interesting, is that, first and foremost, Fisher Stevens going to be back once again. Marvin Gerard.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready to have more clues that Marvin Gerard is apparently responsible for what happened with VANDYKE?
I am going to be watching Marvin like a hawk now, because I really, really think he's the guy. And who knows? My theories aren't always right, but I just get this feeling. I mean, he is a pretty big named actor, and you know, he's really on the rise, especially right now because he's over on Succession as well. And having him on the show is a big get.
I will certainly say this, like, the fact that he's on another episode so soon after his last appearance, like, that does make me suspicious. Like, I have been over here ringing the Panda Baker bell, but where's Panda Baker? Panda Baker hasn't been on the show since, like, the start of the season, and the longer she's gone, the more and more my theory may just be...
She may just be behind the scenes doing what she can right now, keeping low, because maybe she's behind the Cooper thing, so... who knows? I don't think that you're wrong.
Well, okay, see.
But I also think that I'm right. Can't we have it all?
Here's the real mystery at the heart of the Blacklist, everybody. No, it is this. Now, I'm excited to have more of Gerard. We're also going to have Ida Totoro back as Hetty, and this is mostly interesting because it notes in the synopsis that somebody within Red's organization is in trouble, and there's a TV guide piece, out there suggesting that it's going to be Hetty who could be in a certain degree of danger. And I'll say this, that, any member of Red's organization is inherently compelling, but Hetty, to me, like, she's kind of lower on the, power rankings of my favorite Reddington organization members. Like, I love Gerard. I, of course, loved Glenn. I love Paula. Where is Paula this season, by the way?
Well, maybe they're going to give Hetty more of this episode where we'll, really get a bit deeper into things and care a little more about her.
Yeah, I want to care a little bit more because I want to care about everybody who's tied to Reddington in some shape or form. And the same thing goes, for Brimley, who we have not seen, by the way, this season with this goat. Instead, we just saw Son of Brimley a little bit earlier this season.
Luckily, there's still lots of episodes left, so I feel confident that we will end up seeing Brimley. We really do need to see Paula back. I mean, we just did a video of 4 mysteries out there that still need to be resolved. We'll link that for you below. But what about some people that just need to come back? Paula is one of them.
All right.
I mean, I miss Glenn, but I really liked Paula.
I'm going to just go ahead and cast a line out there, an early prediction as to what's going to happen in this episode, because I'm going to try to be optimistic. I want to see the bright side of things. I'm going to hope that this isn't just a filler episode. And if we're going to get to the bottom of this VANDYKE mystery, I think it would be interesting if they did something where we saw this back on the final season of Power, where they had, the spoiler alert, the Who Shot Ghost mystery, where every episode you sort of could rule someone out as a suspect. I think it would be interesting if the Blacklist did something kind of similar here, where I think a lot of us, there's only so many people who theoretically would know where Reddington or Liz were that night. And I think in theory, a lot of them would be in Red's organization. So I think it would be kind of fun if they did something here where they sort of officially ruled out Hetty. It was okay, Hetty is not responsible for, I don't know what her motive would be anyway, but she's not responsible. Here is your proof. I don't want this for Gerard because I want your theory to be out there a little bit longer, but I think that would pay off this episode. It would make this episode meaningful.
My theory to be out there longer. I want my theory to be right. I get so few wins where I actually figure something out. I would love to have a win.
Okay, it could be.
Not that I want, Marvin to, go against Red, but at the same time, I mean, he's really got some motives.
Yeah.
I mean, it really sucked what happened where, Liz set him up to look like a liar.
Yeah.
Reddington tortured him. I mean, he doesn't want to work for Liz. I mean, all of this makes sense. His motivation is there and it's correct. And I think really if Reddington looked at what happened to Marvin and even his role in what he did to Marvin and didn't continue to trust him after all these years of service, I think Reddington would actually understand where Marvin was coming from with that, because he's not necessarily trying to hurt Reddington by killing Liz to make sure that he wants to make sure that Reddington's organization doesn't go spinning out of control with Liz at the helm, who doesn't know what she's doing, who, had all these horrible things happen to Marvin because of her, that it really was a lot more of the business side of the best interest of Red, not his heart, but more of, his head.
If they really go down this road with their theory, I think it's going to be really satisfying, because it's
it'll be satisfying to me.
It'll be satisfying to me too, even if I'm saying it's Panda Baker, because Panda
Baker will be satisfying to me too.
I just think we need a satisfying explanation, and a satisfying explanation exists for both of these characters. As for the other long-term storyline, I'm going to predict right now, I don't think we're going to get a lot of updates on Cooper and what's going on with his
in
case.
this episode. No, I don't think so either. I don't think we're really going to get a lot on, who's behind the VANDYKE thing. But I am going to pay attention to Marvin in this episode, because if he is behind it, I do think that this show likes to give little clues and kind of sprinkle them throughout. So if he's acting shifty, I mean, we'll be talking about that.
All right. Well, the moment that Arcane Wireless, the moment it drops connection here on Friday, we will be here breaking it down. Yeah, like Jess said.
Evil AT&T.
Yeah. So this episode will be a Friday, February 25th.
Yep.
Mark your calendars accordingly. And of course, subscribe. Give this video a like. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you here next time.